Democrats, meanwhile, are trying to expand their reach, even in ruby red Texas. At the state's Democratic convention underway this weekend, top candidates made their case for why Democrats stand a shot at winning statewide races for the first time in decades, and why voters should reject Republicans' culture war messaging.
They divide us by party, by race, by gender, by religion, so we don't notice that they're picking our pockets. It is the oldest strategy in the world. Divide and conquer.
Greg Abbott is tearing us apart with our differences because he knows and he fears the truth. The truth is, together we can take back that corporate power and return that power back to the people of Texas.
Joining us now is Texas State Representative and Democratic candidate for governor, Gina Hinojosa. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's talk a little bit about what we mentioned in our intro here, about why you believe Republicans want Texas to focus more on culture war issues as opposed to other policy issues that you all are dealing with right now.
Well, let me say this. Greg Abbott is masterful at the sleight of hand. With one hand up here, he distracts us with the culture wars and the social issues. With the other hand, he takes our money to give to his billionaire donors. The result is that we have the most people disconnected from their electricity of any state, the most people without health insurance, the most children without health insurance, the most bankruptcies of any state, despite the fact that our property taxes have gone up 75%. I have a plan to put the American dream back at the center, back on the table by saving Texas schools and putting money back in the pockets of Texans.
One of the things that is really interesting, I just came back from Texas. I was meeting with your friend, Mr. Tallarico, and did an interview with him. And on the ground in Texas, as someone who went to high school and graduated high school in Texas, like, it does feel different, right? Like, I think one of the things that we as reporters, those of us that can, need to get out onto the road so we can, like, feel the things that you guys are always saying. So it doesn't feel like there's nothing happening there. But we're still talking about Texas, right? We have some evidence that there is a lot of excitement on the Democratic side. This is the Texas turnout numbers in the March 3rd primaries for Democrats. 4,471,325 that outpaced Republicans. General election was 11 million. What we're seeing in Texas is something that is about an infrastructure, right? Not just like demographics as destiny. As you're talking to voters, as you're talking to people, how do you take all of that excitement, right, all of this energy, what you guys saw or seeing this weekend at your convention, and actually get people out on the road to vote in November?
Well, it's happening before our eyes. Democrats are winning where we haven't won in a long, long time, and sometimes ever. It happened in Tarrant County, where we flipped a state Senate seat in the most Republican county in the whole country, in Cy-Fair outside of Houston, in Arlington, in Denton, in Pearland. So it is happening before our eyes, and it is because people want change. It's not necessarily that they're Team Democrat. It's that whatever this is, they want something different. It creates this opportunity. The excitement that we saw in the primary is an indication of that. I got twice as many votes in the primary in 2026 as Beto got in 2018. The closest we've come to flipping. That was the last time we had Trump in the White House in a midterm election. So yes, that energy is real. This is our best chance in 25 plus years to win in Texas. And this is the most important race in the whole country because the governor of Texas controls 10% of Congress. Republicans in Texas have already said they're coming back next year to redraw maps after the recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on redistricting that gutted the Voting Rights Act. The result is we will lose 5 Democrats in Congress. After the next census in 3.5 years, we'll lose another 5 Democrats in Congress. Those are the stakes. Every American in this country should care about the governor's race in Texas. And if you want to be a part of this movement in Texas, you can go to ginafortexas.com.
Representative Hinojosa, so you've said multiple times the energy is real. Eugene just said he was on the ground. It feels different. And yet, the latest YouGov University of Texas poll shows, let's put that up on the screen. Governor Abbott has 47%. You have 40%. The margin of error is 2.83%. And I want to bring that up also because the last time a Democrat was elected governor of Texas was when Ann Richards was elected in 1990. So what message are you going to drive home between now and Election Day to try to close that gap? What message will help you close that gap, do you think?
The average of all the public polling out there shows us just 5 points down. We start off 9 points down. As people have gotten to know who I am, they are with me. Our job is to reach more people fast, to tell them who I am and what I am about. Here's Greg Abbott's problem. He can't break 50% on any single reputable poll that is out there. His problem is people know who he is and what he is about, and they don't want it anymore. He has been in state office for 30 years since I graduated from high school. At a time when people want change, he is the most entrenched incumbent there is out there. It is working against him. That's why we are closing the gap fast, and that's why we are seeing this energy across the state.
And Congresswoman, before we're out of time, we want to get your reaction to some news coming out of your state this week. The Texas Board of Education has approved required K through 12 reading lists that include Bible stories. Elementary school students are now going to be required to read picture book versions of David and Goliath and Daniel and the Lion's Den. This is supposed to take effect in 2030. It's going to affect more than 5 million K through 12 students in the state. The Washington Post had a little bit more context on this, that the report recommends that the Justice Department issue guidance to promote an originalist understanding of how the Constitution sees religion and government. How would a potential Hinojosa administration address this?
This is an example of the culture wars that are a distraction from the real issues in Texas. Let me give you an example. In Texas, we have over 100 schools shutting down, over 150 entire school districts operating at 4 days a week because they cannot afford to operate at 5 days a week. We have a teacher exodus in Texas. What Greg Abbott does is distract us with Christian nationalism, culture wars, to avert our gaze from the crisis that our schools are in.